Cookies are loaded with so much protein. How many chocolate chip recipes can we have, right? You gotta change up the flavor palette. This is something that's ideal for that. Welcome back to the Anabolic Hub, where we make anabolic deliciousness. We're back inside my kitchen today, and we're doing another original recipe, oatmeal butterscotch cookies. These are loaded with protein. If you love oatmeal cookies, if you've ever had butterscotch candies before, this is going to be the perfect marriage of two wonderful deliciousness flavors coming together, creating an anabolic delight that's going to have you wanting to make these every week. This is going to be ideal for any maingaining plan, any shredding plan, and certainly any weight loss plan. With no further ado, let's get things started by having a look at the ingredients. Here we go. Oat flour, vanilla-based casein protein powder, ground cinnamon, baking powder, baking soda. The one ingredient to rule them all, salt. Plain, non-fat Greek yogurt. Almond milk, unsweetened, or any nut milk you so choose. Swerve. Brown. Vanilla extract. Butterscotch chips or morsels. This is another one of those magical recipes where we're mixing together some dry ingredients, we're mixing together some wet ingredients, and combining the two for some anabolic deliciousness. So let's get things started by mixing together our dry ingredients first. First ingredient we need is 200 grams of our oat flour. Then we need 100 grams of our vanilla-based casein protein powder. Casein protein powder, not whey. Whey makes the batter soupy and the final product dry. Casein protein powder. Vanilla-based, 100 grams. 100 grams on the money. Then we need 10 grams of our ground cinnamon. Then it's 4 grams of the baking powder. Then 5 grams of the baking soda. Then we need 5 grams of the salt. After you have all of your dry ingredients in like so, we're going to, you guessed it, she's back. We're going to do some sifting with our sifter. Or is it a sieve? Honestly, I don't remember. But this is what we're going to do. Then once you've sifted until you think you've sifted enough and then sifted some more, the dry ingredients are done and it's time to go on to our wet ingredients. First up for the wet ingredients is going to be 200 grams of our non-fat plain Greek yogurt. And with what we have left on the spoon there, we have 200 grams exactly. And our next sort of wet ingredient is going to be 20 grams of our swerve brown sugar. Follow me a little bit, but we got 20 grams of the brown sugar on the money. Then we need 5 grams of our vanilla extract. And if you're making this at home, you may need more than we're about to put into our wet ingredients, and that's okay. We won't know until we start combining the ingredients. But let's get things started here by adding in 50 grams of our nut milk. Almond milk's gonna give you, I think, the least amount of calories, but any nut milk will work just fine for this recipe. We're gonna start off by putting in 50 grams here. And then once you have all those ingredients in there, it's time to mix them up. Once you have all your wet ingredients well incorporated, you're just seeing some specks of your brown sugar in the mix, you know that you're good to go, and it's time to add in the dry ingredients, which we're going to do in 3 separate batches. Just wanted to break in here real quick to remind you to smash the like button. Consider subscribing if you're not subscribed. And I'm curious, is there any better way to have oatmeal than in a cookie? Tell me, I'm curious of your thoughts. Let's talk about it in the comment section. All right, back to the video. Batch number 1. Batch number 2, and batch number 3. And once you've mixed in your 3 batches, you may find that you have kind of a dry dough here, a little too crumbly, really couldn't form these into cookies. That's why I said we'd be revisiting the nut milk. So what we're gonna do here is add in 20 to 50 grams of nut milk at a time until we get the consistency that we need. Every casein protein powder is going to absorb differently. I use the gold standard version, and man, it sucks up water like the Sahara Desert. Does that even make sense? But anyway, you get my point. It's dry, not a lot. I digress. Okay, back to the nut milk. Here we go. Gonna need more. You really want to make sure when you're adding in the extra nut milk, after you do that, you mix until you think you've mixed enough, and then you mix some more. You don't want to add too much in. Sometimes you have to stir it longer than last time to realize that you have enough. So keep stirring until you think you've stirred enough. Stir it again, and then maybe one more time. And then if you need more, do it. I added in another 100 grams total of the nut milk. So that's what I needed to make my casein protein powder work. Now that we have our dough at the right consistency, it's time to go over to our cookie sheet that we're gonna have lined with parchment paper, form out our cookies, and then put our butterscotch morsels right on top to ensure that we get some deliciousness flavor in every single anabolic bite. Let's do it. So the dough can be a little sticky, so I recommend if you don't want to have half the batter on your fingers, spray some nonstick on your hands before you get started. I'm sure there's another method that we can use, but this is the one I like, so this is what I'm going to do. Using some nonstick here on the fingertips, then we're going to start forming these cookies. You're right, I like it mostly to do the Mr. Miyagi reference. So as you could see, it took some reshaping and some maneuvering of the cookies, but we did end up getting all 10 cookies that I was hoping to have here. So now, rather than folding in our butterscotch morsels like we typically would for, say, a chocolate chip recipe, I like to make sure there's a nice even distribution of them across all the cookies, that way we're getting all the same flavor across the board. So what we're gonna do now is take 28 grams of our butterscotch morsels and evenly distribute them across all 10 cookies. The butterscotch deliciousness is on. Now it's time to go over to our oven that we've preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius, and we're gonna bake these cookies up for 8 to 10 minutes. So I just took the cookies out of the oven after 9 minutes. They are a little close together, but don't worry, once they cool, they'll separate a little bit, and they actually pull apart quite easily. So if you can space them out a little bit more, you can, but it's really not necessary. Anyway, we're gonna let these cool for 10 minutes. Gonna put them on a dish, or maybe a cutting board. I don't know, haven't decided yet. But either way, we're putting them on something, then we're heading over to the taste test table. We're back at the taste test table yet again to try another amazing anabolic cookie. These smell delicious. I let them cool for 10 minutes. They shrank back down to regular cookie size. Very easy to separate. There were a couple that stuck together, so you might have to take a knife and cut around a little bit if you don't have a big enough cookie tray. But I'm telling you, having 10 of these cookies ready to go, basically meal prepped snack for the entire week. You can't beat it. Let's dive right into our taste test here. We're gonna grab our first cookie, give you guys a close-up look as to what it looks like there. You can see those butterscotch morsels are on there. The cookie is definitely an oatmeal cookie. You can see the oats in there. It's a nice, decently sized, thick cookie. Very dense, so delicious. Can't wait to have it again. No more talking about it. Here we go. First bite, best bite every single time. Let's do it. So friggin' good. Oh my god. If you like yourself some chewy oatmeal cookies, this is the cookie for you. No doubt. Like I said before, you like butterscotch candy? You like oatmeal cookies? Match made in heaven right here. Cannot beat it. Perfect amount of sweetness. Perfect texture. Definitely a 9 out of 10 on what a regular chewy oatmeal cookie tastes like. It's not spongy. You bite into it, it tastes like feels like you're having a real oatmeal cookie. You get that deliciousness of the butterscotch morsel. just increases the sweetness. These are loaded with so much protein. Very easy to meal prep out for the week. You can store these in an airtight container for the entire week. You toss them in the fridge, could probably go a little bit longer. This is another one of those classic grab and go snacks you can have ready on hand, ready to go when you need it. Don't have to be thinking about what are you gonna have for a snack that day. Just pull it right out of the Tupperware container, good to go. It's gonna leave you feeling satisfied and full, definitely gonna get you through, satisfy that sweet tooth as well. It's a no-brainer. I love cooking with oat flour, especially for a recipe like this. With these anabolic recipes, sometimes it's so hard to get the texture right. Feels like you're biting into a sponge a lot of the times when you're having these anabolic cookies. This is nothing like that. If I gave you 2 cookies, this cookie, the anabolic version, and a regular oatmeal version, you wouldn't be able to tell much difference at all, if any. That's how close it is to an actual oatmeal cookie. I'll flash up the macros here so we can take a look. So simple to make. They bake up really fast. It's not gonna take you a lot of time at all. Once you have the ingredients, you have everything together, you mixing together some wet ingredients, mixing together some dry ingredients, you combine them, you form your cookies, put on your morsels in the oven, done. It's also one of those classic anabolic recipes where you wait a day or even 2, they just taste better and better. So you meal prep these out, it's again gonna be a snack that just tastes better as the week goes on. How do you complain about that? How many chocolate chip recipes can we have, right? We gotta change up the flavor palette. This is something that's ideal for that, giving you something new, making your anabolic recipes feel fresh. Just unbelievable, unbelievable cookie. Hope you guys try it. If you do, please let me know in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear how it turned out for you, but it's getting to be about that time. I gotta get up out of here, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye.